What is shutter speed? Shutter speed is the measurement of how long your shutter stays open. And you probably, as a beginner, probably don't know what a shutter is, or you might. But so let's talk about it anyway. Between your camera's sensor and the lens, there is a shutter. It opens, shuts. When you take a photo, when you record a video, that shutter, however long it stays open, either lets in more or less light, and it does it for the period of time that you set it at. What does shutter speed affect? Shutter speed affects two things. Number one, the amount of light that comes and hits the sensor. Number two, it affects motion blur. So why would you use different settings? Because surely on a camera you want the crispest picture ever, and you don't want things to be blurred. Surely you wouldn't want that. Well, in some cases you do. Let's look at, say, two different styles of photography. Sports, light trails in traffic. Two completely different things. You can achieve both of those things on the same camera. That is purely about affecting your shutter speed. So a long shutter speed, the shutter opens and essentially is recording the light that happens all around, which is how you do light painting and how you get the trails of the lights on cars. When you have got a sports situation, you need a really fast shutter speed because you don't want to just capture somebody's hand that starts here and it's blurred all the way across there because they were moving so fast. So look at these two photos. It's exactly the same composition, but here it's shot at 1/4000th of a second, so the water is crazy sharp and you can see all of the ripples. And here it's shot at 1/5 of a second, so a bit longer exposure, and it smooths all that water out. You've got kind of, in effect, blurred water. So why would you want to use different shutter speed settings? Different styles of photography is the answer. Different styles of shot in videography is the answer. Let's take photography first, and we'll take two examples. Sports photography, you're really needing a really fast shutter speed because you need to capture crisp action with no blur. The other end of the scale is things like nighttime photography for the stars, so astrophotography, and light trails and light painting and stuff like that. For that, you're going to need a tripod because you need the camera to be still the whole time that it's exposed. So that's why you would want to choose different settings for photography. For videography, generally the rule is your shutter speed should be twice what your frames per second is. So if you're shooting at 25 frames per second, it should be 50. If you're shooting at 60 frames per second, it should be 120, or 1/120, sorry. That's the general rule. That's to get cinematic look. But you don't have to. You can break those rules. If you want to get really edgy, really gripping footage, you can shoot at a faster shutter speed to get really, really crisp action, which doesn't give you motion blur like this. Similarly, if you want to make it feel like it's dreamy and like crazy weird and like someone's been drugged or someone's drunk or something like that, then you can use a longer shutter speed to give that effect. So let's look at these three clips. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to wave my hand, and you can see the difference between all three of them. One is shot with a longer, one is shot with a shorter, and you can see the effect that that has. And we'll do a longer video on the drunk feel at some point. If you enjoyed the video today, please like and subscribe, hit the bell icon because that means you'll get notifications of new videos, and keep learning.